I'm Mark Callan, Mr. Saltwater Tank, coming to you on behalf of SaltwaterAquarium.com, and this is Mr. Saltwater Tank RUF, raw, uncut, first impressions, the show where I call it as I see it, looking at products that I haven't seen before. And today, I'm taking a look at the Aquaillumination's Blade LED strip light. Now, your first impression may be, wow, this thing's really long, but this comes in 7 different sizes, all the way down from 12 inches up to the 66, which I have here. So if you're thinking, wow, that's too big for me, there's likely a size that fits your size tank. With that out of the way, my first impression when I saw it was, okay, this is Aquaillumination's answer to the growing trend of putting LED strip lights next to metal halides, T5s, or even LED fixtures. And while that's true, there are also many other uses for the light, which I discovered as I learned more about it, but I'll cover that a little bit later in the show. Now, the nitty-gritty, this is an LED strip light with clusters down the length of the fixture. This comes in 2 varieties. There's the Grow, and then there's the Glow variety. Grow is more of, let's call it a midday type of spectrum. Grow is really going to be more of your actinic pop. And as I looked at the Glow, I thought, you know what? This reminds me a lot of those T12 days. Those of you that remember the Super VHOs, that's what the Glow reminded me of. For those of you that like the nitty-gritty tech details, optics on these clusters are 95 degrees, and it uses the Aquaillumination's edge field technology to spread out the light. I'm going to do a second show, a deeper dive into the Blade, where I'll look at the software, take some par readings, but when I fired it up, from what I could tell, there weren't hot spots along each one of these clusters. So if you like blended light, this could very well be the answer. Again, for those of you that like tech specs, there's no there's no fan on the sucker. It's just a heat sink. It's all passively cooled and it's waterproof. So if it gets splashed, that's not a problem. When you go to put any light over your tank, one question you got to answer is, how are you going to mount it over your tank? And the Blade comes with a couple options. One, there's a standard M8 screw receptacle here. So if you have your own light rack like I used, or your own fixture system, you can use a standard M8 screw to make a bracket and mount this onto your lighting solution. For the smaller blades under 39 inches, there's a tank rest solution that has these rests right on the tank. That's included in the smaller lengths. And the larger lengths, there's a bracket that slides on that lets you mount these onto an HMS rail or an HMS arm. For those of you that already have Aquaillumination's fixtures, they're coming out with a rail type kit, bracket that holds on to the Blade and then mounts to your Hydra, Radion, anything like that. So it makes it very easy to deploy this in whatever method you want without having to rig something up. So at the top of the show, I talked about a couple different solutions where I see the Blade making sense. So let's dive into that. First of all is as an LED supplement to your halide T5 or LED fixture. Lots of people like to do that. This is an LED solution from Aquaillumination's to get that done. Now, why not just use a standard on-off or even like a dimmable type of solution like an inline dimmer? You can do that, and those can certainly work fine. For those of us that want more control, maybe more spectrum, you like the tech side of it, then using it with Aquaillumination's with the My AI, likely with Ecotech Mobius and probably Neptune Systems with a module coming out that's going to control all that, you'll have lots of different ways that you can control the Blade. Also, if you're just getting into the hobby, or you're looking for an LED light with that control and that can grow with your tank, the Blade is going to get that done, because you could start with the Blade Grow, and then you could add on glows if you wanted, or more grows if you wanted. One of these is at least going to get light over your tank, which is where I see a lot of hobbyists, especially newbies, get stuck. They may say, well, look, I need 4 of these to really effectively light my tank, but until I can afford them, I'm not going to get started. Which I say, look, put 1 over your tank, get the tank started, because we want to get your tank aging. We want that tank to mature. Whether you have 1 or 2 or 3 or how many you may need of these to effectively light your tank, that's really irrelevant in the beginning. Just get started. You can start with 1, and you can add these as you want. And look, as your tastes change, if you start with a Grow and you're like, I want some more pop, you can add some glow. Maybe you like more glows than grows. As your preferences change, as you mature as a hobbyist, then you can add a different type of Blade based on the needs that you want. Also, if you're looking for really flat light, you're wanting to spread things out without individual fixtures, you can mount these on rails. You can stack them up, many against one another, and get lots of light, really flat light across your frag tank or your system whatever it is. So there's lots of options for the blade, lots of places that I can see it besides just as an LED supplementation to your halide T5 or LED fixtures. So overall, I'm liking what I'm seeing. First impressions of this. I'm going to do a second show, dive into the tech side. I'm going to work inside of it with my AI, mess with the schedule, mess with the spectrum, because that's one of the things that I think is going to make this really shine. So we have a lot of control with it, which of course hobbyists really like. So for now, I'm not giving these back. In fact, I've talked to Aquaillumination and said, hey, I want some for my tank. I want to try them over my 1,000 gallons because this is actually going to go on a little bit of a smaller tank, about a 200 gallons, but I like what I see. I want some over my tank. We'll dive into the tech side on a future episode. For now, there's a first look at the AI blade. Remember, this comes in 7 different sizes, so don't get taken out by the big one that I've gotten here. Lots of sizes to suit your tank, different spectrums based on what you like, and if you don't know what you like, you can start with one spectrum and always add it on in the future, and of course, give all the tech control that you might want or might not want as well. All right, this is staying with me.